VMX Show Season 4.
Hello everybody, Negro VMX here, and this is the VMX Show, Season 4, Episode 7. Got an interesting show for you, a bit of a slow news week, not that many stories to talk about this week, but what I do have is interesting. We've got lots of questions and comments to answer. Chris Colette came by for an interview, we'll have that a little bit later in the show, and of course we'll be playing some songs. Started that off with one of the themes from the Elder Scrolls Arena, one of those classic PC RPGs that you probably haven't played, and you probably haven't played its sequel, The Elder Scrolls II Daggerfall, but I can bet you that you've played the sequels that came after that. Morrowind, Oblivion, and soon Skyrim. I'll tell you a little story. I want to give a shout out and a big thanks to Zach Sharps, also known as CC George Washington, who I was talking to him about the possibility of getting Skyrim running on my computer. Skyrim, we don't know what the minimum requirements are going to be, but we can make some pretty safe assumptions about them. And really what it came down to is I needed more RAM and a new video card, and he professed that he was going to be buying a new computer and sending me some of the old parts. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to send me the video card because he wound up not being able to afford a new one. But I did get the RAM. I now have 4 gigs of RAM, which is pretty sweet. I was thinking about actually, this is sad though, I was thinking of actually getting a video card myself, since they have video cards that would definitely be good enough for only about $80, but then I was like, oh man, but then you know what, I would have to get a new power supply because I have this 305 watt piece of crap, so I don't know. I'm thinking I'm just going to wind up getting the game for 360, which, as much as it pains me to play an Elder Scrolls game on a console because of the first-person controls on a PC are so much more superior. I'm so used to playing Elder Scrolls on a computer, but I think I'll just do that, and whenever the time comes around that I get myself a new PC, I think I'll just have to get it then, just get it again. But I don't mind buying the game twice. I'm a big fan, and plus, like I said, it's way easier to play it on a PC than it is to play it on a 360. I can play first-person shooters on a 360 because I got used to that when I played BioShock. Because I bought BioShock and BioShock 2 for Xbox 360 to save hard drive space back when that was an issue. It's not an issue now, but and now the whole issue is the video card. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I was able to play that, but there's a whole lot more precision involved in a role-playing game. I mean, just the idea of trying to pick up a very small object, I'm just like, oh God, no, not that. Anything but that. I'm exaggerating a little, but that's what we do on the VMX show. We have a little fun. So let's get to your questions and comments. So let's see what we got here. FoxFang96 is back. Asks, what Mortal Kombat character is your favorite, and which one is your worst? Also, do you think they can continue the Mortal Kombat series with the fact that, spoiler alert, only 3 good guys survive? Thank you for your time. To answer your second question first, absolutely. They can create new characters. There's other characters they could use. There's a lot of characters from Mortal Kombat 4 and beyond that can be introduced. Also, keep in mind that, they could also create new characters. And we'll actually be talking about that a lot in the interview with Chris Colette, 222, coming up later. We do get into talking about Mortal Kombat, and we had some ideas about, what the next one might be like. So we'll answer that more there. As for favorite and least favorite, I think I must have answered this about 1 billion times, and here's one more. Favorite is Sub-Zero. Not that he's my favorite to play as, but he's my favorite, character. Least favorite is Stryker. So it's very simple. I keep answering this over and over again, but what's one more, huh? Shemobile says, hey Nick Rose, just wondering, have you ever played all the Shining Force games? No, I haven't played all of them. Played some of them. Mr. Lover of Ganja says, would you like to see AVGN do more videos with NC? He means Angry Video Game Nerd and Nostalgia Critic. I would, because I found the videos they've done together quite funny. I guess if they did more videos of them fighting, I thought that was amusing, especially since they did a lot of stuff that was like references to older movies and stuff, so I thought that was pretty amusing. But I'm not a huge fan of the Nostalgia Critic. I kind of don't care about him. But, I mean, if it's anything like that, that video where they were fighting in AVGN's place and all that choreographed stuff, that was pretty funny. Jazzmaster909 says, you don't have to answer this on the show if you don't want to. Well, I know that. I don't have to answer anything I don't want to. I don't have to do anything I don't want to. It's my fucking show. God. Have you ever played or at least heard of Rise of the Triad? And if so, what do you think of it? I think I had a shareware version of that, and I remember having a positive experience, but not much else other than that. It was a first-person shooter. For those who don't know, it was actually on the Wolfenstein 3D engine. It was heavily modified, of course, but it did basically run on the Wolfenstein 3D engine. So there's that. All right, let's move on. I got some other comments here. Here's another one from Jazzmaster909. Random question: how do you like your orange juice, pulp or no pulp? I prefer definitely no pulp. I like to drink. Keep my. I'm gonna quote Penny Arcade here. Drinks should be drinks, snacks should be snack. I don't want something solid coming into my mouth when I'm trying to enjoy a nice beverage. So definitely, minimal pulp or no pulp is the best. Pack is back 04 says, best episode of season 4 yet. Great vid. Thank you very much. Cobra DVS says, hey Nick Rose, simply great show. Seeing as you are a fan of the series, what are some Super NES games you have enjoyed the most? Oh, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Seeing as you're a fan of the SNES, what are some SNES games you have enjoyed the most? Obviously, Lufia and Chrono Trigger are obvious choices, but how about some more obscure Super NES games? Thanks. One obscure title that let me name some obvious ones, some non-obscure ones. You did name 2 RPGs there. Lufia 2, Chrono Trigger are big choices of mine. Also, I'm not into just RPGs. Mega Man X I must have played through it 1,000,000 times. Street Fighter 2 Turbo I definitely played through like 1,000,000 times. And also Breath of Fire 1 and 2, those are RPGs, of course. But I do like more than RPGs. I played the hell out of Killer Instinct back in the day, too. That's another one. An obscure game on the Super NES that I was really into was Populous. It's a strategy kind of sim god game where you play as a god and you're fighting against a demon. And it's all about like town building and terrain molding. It's all very strategic and like simmy. Not everybody's into that kind of thing, but I am. And I was really into Populous. Unfortunately, the sequels, Populous is basically a PC series. The sequels never made it to consoles, as far as I knew. Until recently, there was Populous DS, which is one of the few games that I bought just from seeing the box. I didn't know that it was out. I didn't know that it existed. I saw it in the store, and I immediately bought it, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. So there's that. What else? I think that's probably the most obscure Super NES game that I really liked a lot. That was a favorite. So I'm just going to move on. Meat Boy 5 says, wow, that Ren and Stimpy creator story reminds me of what happened to the creator of Invader Zim. Nick, meaning Nickelodeon, seems really controlling of their creators. It's true, and it happens with a lot of companies, but Nickelodeon definitely seems to have a specific direction that they want to go in, and sometimes the creators want to go in a different direction. What's interesting is you mentioned Nickelodeon. I heard that they're doing something where they're going to be showing all the old 90s shows, and yeah, that does include the old Ren and Stimpy's. I've recently been watching like every episode of Ren and Stimpy in what little spare time I have, and I got through seasons 1 and 2, and just, it was brilliant, and now I'm on season 3, and it's just like, it's kind of bad, and that's when John Chris Falusi was gone, and you see the definite and immediate drop in quality. So hopefully, they're going to be showing some Ren and Stimpy soon. Hopefully, it will be from the original 2 seasons and not from seasons 3 through 5, which were bad. J4P has a couple of comments here. Necro, have you ever watched a movie called Night of the Creeps? Blah, blah, blah. No, I haven't. Okay. Then he says, nah. Gears 3 was definitely leaked by hackers. It actually says in the main menu of the leaked game Gears of War 3 beta, and the whole campaign is filled with glitches and texture issues like a beta would have. I read this all on a forum, have not played a leaked game myself. Well, don't give me secondhand information. You don't know that they didn't do that on purpose, is my point. You don't know how easy it is to do that. Let's see. Sexy Darius 96. Alright. Sexy... What a name. I assume that your name is Darius and that you think you're sexy. Well, okay. That's wonderful. I gotta look at this person's account. Sexy Darius. Oh my god. What the hell is going on here? They got a DeviantArt. Oh, I gotta see this. Let's see. That's like... Oh, God. Wow. Alright, well, that being said, let's get to your question. To answer her question, I assume that you're talking about Kakeo Silverton. The 2 people who told everybody about Bill 978 are DSP Gaming and Ultra David. And Ultra David is a copyright lawyer who did read the whole thing and explained it twice. The only reason people are worried at all is because of the vagueness of it all, and people know how copyright works on YouTube. Obviously not. People don't know how copyright works on YouTube, and the bill is not really that vague. It's a little bit vague, but bills have to be a little bit vague, as Kakeo explained last week, because there has to be a little bit of wiggle room. Because it's not like an internet forum, guys. I used to run internet forums, and we would have a pretty good list of rules, and then somebody would find a way to be a gigantic cock to everybody and just ruin everybody's fun while not specifically breaking any of the rules that we had written down, because there was cock behavior that we hadn't thought of, ways to be a cock that we hadn't planned for. And of course we would ban these people because, they're coming in and they're just ruining everybody's fun. And then they'd be like, well, that wasn't in the rules. Well, I'm going to say, well, it doesn't need to be in the rules. Just because you see something not in the rules, it doesn't give you a license to be a cock. But in real life, it has to be there. In real life, if you there's these things called loopholes. And loopholes can work both ways. And people will find ways to break the law without actually breaking the law. They'll find loopholes. They'll find ways to do the wrong thing and not specifically break the law. And then they have to change the law. So they have to have that little bit of wiggle room and that vagueness to cover things like that. And I want to say something to all the people out there. A lot of people are saying, well, this is still a bad thing because that means all the music videos and the music and all the movies and shit are going to be taken off of YouTube. Good! They should be. That's illegal. It's copyright infringement. You don't have the right to listen to music without buying it. Go to fucking iTunes and buy it. You don't have the right to watch movies for free. Get Netflix. That's it. Don't you understand that it's morally wrong? It's convenient and it's easy, but that doesn't mean that it's okay and that it's a bad thing that YouTube is fighting against this. Like, everybody was bitching about Viacom and how Viacom was evil because they were suspending accounts and taking down videos left and right that were owned by Viacom. Do you guys got to understand that YouTube is being sued for billions of dollars by Viacom? And that Viacom had every right to do that because their copyrights were being infringed upon. It doesn't matter if you think it doesn't hurt anybody. They have the right to do these things. They don't have the right to go after people who are doing Let's Plays and derivative works, but they're not. And I think Kakeo explained that beautifully, and I think, as far as I'm concerned, that subject is closed. I'm going to move on. Max Spender says, I don't think Resident Evil 4 has better graphics on the Wii. It has different controls and extra content, but it looks the same as the GameCube version. No, it doesn't. They don't look identical. There's definitely a sharper resolution there. It's subtle, but it is there. And I don't even know why you even bring this up. You don't even make a point. I love people who love to refute something very minor that is said, and they don't even, have a point. What is your point? Are you trying to say that the Wii and the GameCube are the same thing? Because it's not. Let me ask you a question. Would GoldenEye for the Wii run on the GameCube? Of course not. Of course not. Would Punch-Out run on the GameCube? No, it wouldn't fit on a GameCube disc, much less run on it. What about Mad World? Nope, that wouldn't run on a GameCube. Definitely not. Definitely not. Too much shit going on. You guys, the GameCube is a very powerful system, but the Wii is definitely more powerful. Just because the games you've bought and the games you've played and the games you've seen did not look to you much better. You gotta understand, we're at a point where leaps in graphics are not where it's at. It's the technology. Just because a game looks like, it looks like it could have been run on the GameCube, that doesn't mean it could. A lot of these games wouldn't even fit on the discs. So, and there's more than just resolution. There's more than just textures going on. There's how much shit is going on the screen too. I'm gonna give you an example. We're gonna go back to the Nintendo 64 here for a second. The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask did not look any better than The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. As a matter of fact, it ran on the same engine. It looked like it had the same graphics. So, is it safe to say that basically they're the same thing and that it's not any more advanced and that it's just a new set of levels? No, because if you remember, Majora's Mask required the use of the expansion pack. The expansion pack was usually used to give us different textures, a different frame rate, not a good frame rate, but a different frame rate, different textures, and sharper graphics. But it didn't do that for Majora's Mask, but it did allow for a lot more to be going on the screen. Most Wii games would not run on the GameCube, and the perfect example, one of the first Wii games and one of the last GameCube games that came out was The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. And of course, motion controls aside, and yeah, I do think the GameCube version was better, but the fact is that it was sharper it was a higher resolution on the Wii. You know what? I'm done talking about this. Can we move on? It's such a fucking stupid original post that I got that I should have just ignored because it was a dumb question. And now we're going to be going on about it every week. No more responses to that. I'm not going to read them. Circulation 211 says, glad to hear your interest in my Doom mod. I've been working on and off for what I want to say going on 2 years now. It's not so much as it is difficult that is very tedious and frankly quite boring. Yeah, I would imagine that mapping in Doom would just be dull. Unfortunately, it's still a long way from completion as I'm the only person working on it. I just feel like nobody else could really grasp my ideals and that the WAD is based upon. Plus, it heavily relies on ZDoom only scripting and features such as 3D floors, overfloors, floating slopes, etc. Well, I think you do need to have other people working on it, not just because it would make it easier and faster, but because you have to have other people's input, because you could think it's brilliant. I've had people send me games that they worked on themselves, and I said, well, this wasn't tested. And they'll say, I did test it. I say, no, testing it yourself does not count. You have to have other people play it and get another perspective, because you already know how to get through it. You have to have other people play it to see if the difficulty is right, to see if the linearity of it, going from point A to point B, because as much exploration as you can put in Doom, the goal is always going to be to get to the exit. Is it concise? Is it clear what you need to do, or is it too obtuse? Is it too hard at the beginning and not hard enough at the end? Is the curve of difficulty correct? You have to have people who were not involved in making it play it. And you also have to accept their input. You can't just say, oh, well, you don't understand what I'm doing, because what you're doing is wrong if the difficulty is all fucked up, or if it's not clear where you're going. You have to understand that when you're making a video game, even if it is a WAD or a hack or a fan game of some sort, you are making something that other people are going to play and hopefully enjoy. It's not an artistic expression of your own. There is artistry there, and you are expressing yourself. But if people don't understand it, it's not their fault. It's your fault. The entire point of a game is to be fun. Now, I'm not saying that you're doing anything wrong. Your game could be brilliant. But what I am saying is I've had too many people think that they can design a game and they don't realize how difficult that is, and that you can't do it on your own. Nobody is going to be able to design a game on their own unless they are a genius. And even then, you need other people to play your game and give you input. And you can't just say, well, oh, you don't understand what I'm trying to do here. Because if it's not fun, it's not fun. So try and consider what I'm saying and bring some other people into... Because you know what? They may not understand your ideas, but they may have ideas of their own and ways to contribute that you haven't considered that may be really great. So consider bringing other people into the project. Moving on here. Adelina says, hey, what do you think of the survival sandbox games such as Minecraft? Oh, I'm sorry. I just fell asleep there. Oh, let me try and read your question again. What do you think of the survival Oh, God. I nearly nodded off there. Oh, okay. I'm going to move on here. Chubby Luigi says, I'm glad Capcom learned their bullshit will not be tolerated by Chubby Luigi. Okay. I'm glad too. I don't think you had anything to do with it, but I'm glad. Vidya Game says, I'm glad you've been enjoying Ren and Stimpy lately. I remember asking you a while ago, and you said you liked it when you were a kid, but you had outgrown it. That is probably easy to do, but you're right. A lot of the early episodes are absolute gold. Some of the most satirical, dark, and bizarrely funny humor I've seen in something supposed to be a children's cartoon, considering most people who watch it think it's brain dead, fuck shit, stupid. They even kind of did that in the show when they did that episode, Stimpy's Fan Club, when Ren is trying to... He's made the president of Stimpy's Fan Club. Stimpy puts him there because Ren is upset that everybody loves Stimpy and they hate him and they don't think he's funny and they think he's a jerk, but... but that's his job, is to be the jerk. And he's nobody loves the jerk. They all love the fat, stupid, nice guy. So he's answering these questions, and he's like, if you watch my show all the time, you'll be just like me. And then he goes, yeah, brain dead. So, they did kind of know that was going to be the reaction to it. And he says, thanks for going back to last episode, too. I don't know what you mean, but okay. Rocker Josh 717 says, hey, Necro, thanks for playing Alex's theme. It's nice to know that King of Fighters 13 will hit consoles, and hopefully it come to North America. No, hopefully it will, not hopefully it come. Hopefully it come to North America as well. I also wanted to ask you if SNK could remake or follow up any of their games or series. Which game or series would it be? Well, I would like to see Fatal Fury Mark of the Wolves have a modern release. As a matter of fact, there were Fatal Fury collections, but I'd like to see collections of the later games, including Mark of the Wolves. A lot of people call it Garou, which is weird because all of the games in the series are called Garou. That's just the Japanese name of it, but for some reason they like to call that one Garou. I don't know. It was released on Dreamcast only in Japan, but it was released on PlayStation 2 here, I think, but it was very, very, very difficult to get. Also, give us bring back SVC Chaos. I want that game. It's so hard to get. I can play it on an emulator, but it's not the same. Let's see. 13 Duct Tape Ninja 13 has a couple of things here. It says, oh god, my PS2 has virtually become unplayable on my HD TV due to extreme darkness, so now next to my flat screen I have a gross, ugly standard bubble screen next to it that I have to revive from the depths of my house's ass crack. Yeah, but your PlayStation 2 looks great on it. And he says, man, the new PlayStation console. I feel that in order for it to be successful, it needs to come out before the new Xbox, at least, and continue its we're more powerful bitch, look at our massive cock style that it has got away with and be backwards compatible with all PS3 games, and if possible, further back and give us a trade-in bonus of some sort so that potential buyers have a reason to trade in their PS3s. Well, that'd be my list. Ooh, I take umbrage with a lot. Okay, first of all, they got it. No, we're more powerful, bitch, look at our massive cocks. Hasn't worked for them. They need to be like, we're more fun. Why does the Xbox outsell PlayStation 3 at least in America? I can tell you why the PlayStation 3 outsells the Xbox in Japan, because they're a bunch of nationalistic bastards and they don't like anything from America. But the Xbox 360 outsells the PS3 here, mostly because it's seen as they're basically seen as being even in terms of graphics. I know the PlayStation 3, has higher resolution, but let me tell you something. Most people don't give a shit. Most games on the PS3 are also available on the Xbox as well. The exclusives that the PS3 have are because they're first or second party titles, not because they can't be done on 360. So, people buy the more affordable system. They, and if they're going to go with something that's like way more powerful and come out first, which means that they would have to not only do something more powerful than the next Xbox, but they would have to beat them to the gate, which always means that Microsoft could make their console more powerful. Keep that in mind. And to have it backwards compatibility is a wonderful thing, but to be backwards compatible with PS3 and PS2 and all that, the cost is going to be sky high. And that's what they got to avoid. They got to avoid having that $600 console. Even though you can get a PS3 for $300 now, there's still that stigma of the fact that they originally released it for $600. Video Games says, by the way, we watched that clip about women's suffrage from the Man Show in history class. It was fucking hilarious. Yes, it was. Lugnal says, you used the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney cornered theme after an interview with an aspiring lawyer. I see what you did there. It wasn't exactly subtle, and actually she asked for me to play that. Joking aside, I always wanted to hear your opinion on Arc System Works, their games, and the Guilty Gear X BlazBlue crossover speculated to be developed after the BlazBlue series concludes. Why do people think it's going to conclude? If it keeps making money, they'll keep releasing games. I apologize if you already touched on that subject. I'm not a regular watcher of your show, but I absolutely love all the episodes that I did listen to. Well, that's wonderful. I like the Guilty Gear games. I like the BlazBlue games. I think that they're a natural fit to cross over with each other, so I look forward to seeing what's going to happen there. Dave Cornfan says, the Wii looks good on an HD TV if you... blah, 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 blah. Who cares? All right. Old X School says... Oh, okay, there's a lot here. Let me scroll up. Okay. When it comes to SD console... Oh, God. You know what? The guy asked a question, okay? He says, okay, my HD TV makes the Wii and the PS2 look like shit. Is that normal? And I said, yes, it is normal. there's all these different little technical aspects to it and everything we don't need to get into. I answered the guy's question. I don't care about any of this shit. Gabe Lang G says, partners can't show game footage. I got a couple partner offers. Almost all of them were entirely game footage. That is unusual. That is very unusual, actually. Every single partnership offer I've ever gotten was I'm going to look them up right now. Every single one I've gotten was for non-gameplay videos. And I'm bringing them up here. Let's see. Cam video, one of the James Bond reviews. Custer's Revenge, okay, because that one was really popular. Hell's Kitchen. Okay, so I did get some on, that was a long time ago, on game videos. Let's see, movie review, cam video, voiceover video. You know, most of them are cam videos. I actually got one for the Armageddon Time, a hilariously drunk one. The most recent partnership offer I've gotten was for Rottweiler Hates Jackie Martling's voice, or I was chasing my dog Ari around going, cock shit ream! Cock shit ream! You know, I ignore them. You know, the thing is, you can't, if you read the partnership thing, like, regardless of whether or not they sent you one, regardless of that, regardless of, sorry, I got a little confused there, because I was trying to read something at the same time I'm talking, which doesn't really work. Regardless of whether or not they sent you a partnership offer, if you go in and you read the terms and conditions, it does not allow gameplay videos unless you have permission from the copyright holders. And even though you can show derivative works and that is legal, it's not legal to make money off of it, which goes back to Bill 978. Which is why Machinima can show gameplay videos, because they have permission to do so. Jazzmaster909 says, I have to say this out loud, Kakeo's voice sounds beautiful. Calm down, she has a boyfriend. And Kakeo Silverton says, still love the show, thanks for having me on, Necro. Well, thank you for coming on and explaining shit. Moonbound280 says, hey Necro, love the show. Anyway, I was wondering, what is your opinion on the idea of Final Fantasy VII Remake? It seems like whenever I read a news article about anything Final Fantasy related, like comments are filled with pleas of, we don't want this shit, give us a Final Fantasy VII Remake. I can't help but get annoyed at these constant demands. In my honest opinion, Final Fantasy VII is overrated to the point that games that are, in my opinion, superior to Final Fantasy VII, such as Final Fantasy V and VI, are shoved aside by fans. You had to continue that in another comment. That's why I paused there. Where are the people asking about remakes for those games? They are there, though, and they are getting remade. 5 and 6. I suppose Final Fantasy 5 and 6 have already seen re-releases, but it still bothers me that fans are complaining that we're getting new content from Square Enix instead of a remake. What is your opinion on the matter? This wouldn't even be an issue if they hadn't shown a tech demo of what Final Fantasy 7 would look like running on a PlayStation 3, which made everybody assume that they were doing that. And then when they said, no, it was just a tech demo, we're not actually doing that, it became like the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker thing, where, oh, well, we don't want this, we want what the tech demo showed. Well, fuck you, that's what I say. If they released Final Fantasy VII, I actually think that would be a good thing, though, because one thing that they would definitely fix is the atrocious translation of that game. You know, no more this guy are sick and whatnot. And I think also they could balance it a little better and fix some of the game-breaking mechanics in there. But I do agree that I'd rather see new games than old games. Ponergy says, hey Necro, my question is, if you have ever played any of the Dead Rising game? No, I haven't. Why do people keep sending questions, have you played this, have you played that? Who cares? Ask me something that means something. Awesome3Gamer says, while I was in California on vacation, I was so wrapped up in stuff to do, I forgot to ask her. What? Could you at least give me, like, some idea what you're talking about? I mean, you're probably referring to something from, like, a week ago, 2 weeks ago that I have no idea what you're talking about. When I get a chance next time, I'll try to get information, though she is on the other side of the country, therefore I don't see her much anyway. And what are you talking about? I gotta look this up now. This is driving me Awesome3Gamer. I mean, really? Like, what is going on there? I have no idea what this guy's talking about. Let's see. Alright, now that's... Oh, okay. One of your relatives is an entertainment lawyer. Well, don't worry about it. Kakeo explained it all. Don't worry about it. You really gotta, say, oh, by the way, speaking of my relative that was an entertainment lawyer, seriously, don't just go into it like you think I'm really gonna know what you're talking about. Wow, okay. Let's see. God Scarscream is asking me this long-ass thing about... Alright, I'm gonna read it anyway. He's basically asking me what my least favorite Mortal Kombat characters are, and I already talked about that because somebody else asked it. But he talks about his, so I'll read it. Hey, Necro, my question is, who are your most hated characters in the whole Mortal Kombat series, excluding Mortal Kombat vs. DC? Why would I exclude that? Mine are Dagon, Taven, and the most hated... Mine are Dagon, Taven, are my most hated. Man. I'm not even yelling at you, dude, but people in general need to go back to school and take some English classes. They completely suck. I put them in the Dazzler list. Ooh, harsh. Blaze, really, do we need a Killer Instinct-like character? Actually, Blaze is a reference to Mortal Kombat 2. In the Pit 2 stage, there was two characters fighting, and one of them appeared to be on fire. And fans called him, they would call him Blaze or Pyre or whatever, and they were actually asking for that character to be added. So that was by fan request. Kratos, Chameleon, my hatred for these characters is the exclusiveness. Just give me Mortal Kombat without having to buy multiple copies for one character. Now I must turn on Armageddon just to make Dagon and Taven bleed. Ha, good times. They're not as lame as Stryker. Finally, Dreadnought2448 says, Hey Necro, I saw your recent episode of the List Critics, and I have to agree with your rating for the top 25 consoles of all time. The fact that they included shit like Atari Jaguar and 3DO is just laughable. I'm surprised they didn't include the Philips CDI. Well, that's what Jesse said. I guess it's true. You can't spell ignorant without IGN. Anyways, my question is, should Dragon Quest X come out for the Wii U, or should it remain a Wii title? Thanks. That's pretty far into development. I don't think they're going to be porting that over to the Wii U. That's a Wii game. Square Enix doesn't jump consoles so easily, too. You got to remember that. Well, anyway, that's your questions and comments. Let's play a little bit more music, and then we'll get to the news. Not much news this week, but some interesting stuff. little Soul Blazer there for you. Soul Blazer, great game from Enix on the Super NES. So let's get to the news. We got some not that many sorry, I was looking at something on Facebook. Not that many things to talk about, but they are interesting. First off, another Wii U endorsement, this time from the creative director of Epic Games, Cliff Bleszinski, also known as Cliffy B. He's come out with some big support of the Wii U. And this is the quote from Cliffy B. He says, "From what I've seen, it looks pretty cool. It seems like you can stream your game from your television directly to your tablet controller, so if you have irritable bowel syndrome or a small bladder, you can still play it in the toilet. That's great." But, from what people are saying online, they're like, oh, it's just a Dreamcast, whatever. But it's like, dude, what's old is new sometimes. The Power Glove back on the NES led to the Wii, right? The Virtual Boy led to the 3DS, right? A lot of these older technologies that you forget about are the technological predecessors. The Kinect is a sophisticated webcam, right? So I'm just dying to see it. It's Nintendo. I'll buy it. I know I'll buy it. They'll talk shit, but they'll buy it. I agree. They talk shit, but, it's going to sell like crazy. Moving on, Rain is coming to Mortal Kombat. Of course, the purple ninja that appeared in Mortal Kombat Trilogy and Mortal Kombat Armageddon. He's the third downloadable character that you can get after Kenshi and Scarlet. So July 19th is the date. That's in 2 days. He will be officially available for download. Rain is pretty cool, but we are really wondering about what the next character is going to be. There's going to be one more downloadable content character, and I will talk about this in the interview with Chris, which is coming up soon. This is an interesting thing. I don't know what EA is thinking with this Battlefield 3 shit. They can't seem to ever talk about their game without mentioning Call of Duty like 40 times, which is hilarious to me. And Activision has even thanked them. They said, hey, thank you for advertising our game for us. You're, doing our job for us. Now, here's the latest in that bit of bullshit. ModernWarfare3.com. Check it out. Go to www.modernwarfare3.com, and you will wind up at battlefield.com/battlefield3. It looks like EA registered the domain. Although people are now saying that the domain might have actually been registered by a third party. But, it doesn't matter to me either way. Parasite Eve 2 is going to be coming to the PSN on PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Portable. It has been rated by the ESRB, which means it is a thing. No news on what it's rated. Let me see. Does it even say this? It is a mature rating, as it was in the old days. But they have re-rated Parasite Eve 2 for both PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Portable as mature for blood and gore and violence. Interestingly, if the old PlayStation 1 said animated blood and gore and animated violence, I think people realize it doesn't matter whether the violence or the blood and gore is animated or not. They used to have sub-classifications of animated blood and realistic blood, but, they don't bother with that anymore. Metacritic has caught some games reviewers taking bribes and blacklisted them from the site. No news on exactly who has been caught doing that, but apparently this is a thing that's happening all the time, and Metacritic is actively pursuing it, so be careful. Moving on. We just talked about this earlier with the whole Final Fantasy VII Remake thing. Famitsu had polled Square Enix fans all over Japan asking what do they want to see the most, and other kind of questions. One of the questions was, who are their most favorite game creators at Square Enix? The winner was Tetsuya Nomura, who made Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts. Second place went to Akitoshi Kawazu, who's behind Saga and Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. And in third place was Yuji Horii, who makes Dragon Quest. Another survey for games said, what game would you most like to see a remake or a sequel of? And it's hardly surprised, but Final Fantasy VII came in first, Xenogears came in second, and The World Ends With You came in third. And one more survey was, what upcoming Square Enix game are you anticipating the most? Most readers replied with Final Fantasy Versus 13, then Final Fantasy Type 0, and then Dragon Quest X. So, these were conducted on their website, Famitsu.com, which is, of course, in Japanese. Moving on. Here's a follow-up. I talked about this, I think, 2 weeks ago, something like that. A few weeks ago, I talked about the possibility that EA Games may be purchasing PopCap Games. Well, it has happened. EA officially owns PopCap Games. The purchase was for $750 million. PopCap Games are, of course, the creators of Plants vs. Zombies, Bejeweled, Zumba, Insane Aquarium, and many other casual greats. And now it's all owned by Electronic Arts. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Who knows? Personally, I'm leaning towards it's a disaster, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Final Fantasy XI, Square Enix's first MMO, will be heading to the PlayStation Vita, making it the first MMO from Squaresoft to come out on a handheld, and also one of the biggest MMOs to ever come out on a handheld. As a matter of fact, I think it is the biggest MMO to come out on a handheld. I don't think anything more important than that has ever come out on a handheld system. So that's kind of interesting for fans of Final Fantasy XI. I assume it'll be cross-platform with Xbox 360 and PlayStation 2 and PC, because they're all cross-platform. So the Vita players are now going to be joining in. This is kind of a surprise. There's going to be an update to Marvel vs. Capcom 3 coming out. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 will be coming out. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, that's not a surprise. Capcom always updates their fighting games. But they've never updated a Marvel vs. Capcom game before. This will be a budget title, just like Super Street Fighter 4. I assume that, like Super Street Fighter 4, it will possibly see your old saves, which I barely have one because I barely played Marvel vs. Capcom 3 because I got addicted to Mortal Kombat. They said that Jill Valentine and Shuma Gorath, who were downloadable characters for the original Marvel vs. Capcom 3, will be included in the game, as well as 12 new characters, which will bring it to 50. So, who's in it? We don't know. More on that as it develops. I will definitely let you know who the new characters are going to be. Some rumored characters would be Frank West and Dr. Octopus, but we'll figure out, when they're officially announced, who the 12 new characters are going to be. So there's that. Moving on, I got one more news story here. This also has to do with the domain. Microsoft had registered Microsoft-Sony.com, and I think there was also a Sony-Microsoft.com, and people were like, what's going on? Is there going to be some sort of collaboration between the two? What does this mean? Well, here's the boring truth about it. It has nothing to do with video games. It was what they call a defensive domain hold. But they did add that Sony is a great Microsoft partner. Is Microsoft speaking out? So it looks like it really has nothing to do with anything. They just wanted to have the domain so that no one else could have it. Well, unfortunately, that's it. Some interesting news stories, but that's all I have for news this week. So let's get to the interview. Let's bring Chris Colette in here. Chris Colette's back on the show. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing better.
Better than before?
Yeah.
What changed?
What changed? Not much.
Okay, if you say so. You just feeling better, right?
Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better.
So what brings you here today?
I want to talk about the Wii U and
everybody wants to talk about the Wii U, of course.
Yeah, the reason why is because it's going to change a lot.
Well, I don't know how much it's going to change. I mean, what do you think it's going to change?
Well, it's got the video chatting thing on there, and it's definitely going to change how we play and watch TV.
Well, I mean, I know they're trying to go for that, but I don't think, that's the one thing that I don't get. Like, Microsoft was trying to say that too. We're going to change the way you watch TV, and they're showing, like, all this stuff that you can get on the 360, like,
YouTube.
Netflix and YouTube, but then you can watch TV shows, and it's like, well, I'm already on the TV. Why do I need the Xbox to watch TV shows,
Yeah, or you can get on the computer and watch TV shows.
Yeah, exactly. So that, I want to focus on the games personally. I mean, I don't care about any of the other crap, video chat,
Yeah, well, the Smash Brothers so far, Smash Brothers 3D, or whatever we're going to call it. I know it's Super Smash Brothers.
Well, we don't know what they're going to call it because they haven't even started it yet.
Yeah.
It's going to be on the 3DS and the Wii U. That's all we know.
That'll be the first Super Smash Brothers that's ported on a handheld console.
Well, I think we know that.
Yeah, after we've been wanting it ever since Melee and Brawls come out.
Yeah.
But,
well, I mean, with the 3DS, you at least have a console that can handle the concept like Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, the whole point of having the Wii U is so it can handle more third-party support, like how the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 can handle those graphics of the third-party supporters, like Black Ops and stuff.
Well, Black Ops is on the Wii. It's not, it's not that it's not that the Wii can't handle these games, because a lot of times you'd be surprised what it can handle. I think the problem is that they need to alter people's perception of them. People buy the Wii for one reason, and they buy the Xbox 360 or the PS3 for another reason. They have to show that these games are going to sell on a Nintendo console.
Yeah, they buy the 360 and the PlayStation 3 for hardcore gaming, and then they buy the Wii for family fun.
Yeah, which is a ridiculous concept, but that's the perception that the public has, and until you alter that perception, it's going to stay that way. I mean, you have to show people that these games work on the Wii U, not just release them, because they won't sell unless you show people not only that it's going to work on this system, but that it's a better choice.
Yeah, that's what I guess that's what Nintendo's hoping to do at next E3, is to show what all it can do, more of what it can do than showing the video of it and the controller.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure that the reason they couldn't really show anything is they didn't have much to show.
Yeah, they're still working on it.
And I was kind of, I kind of think they might have gotten forced into that in a way, because, there were a lot of Wii games and things that should have been announced at E3 that weren't.
Yeah, one of them's Kirby.
There's not only Kirby Wii, but there's also another one, Kirby Mass Attack. So there's two Kirby games. And I remember at the end of their press conference, you see all those logos pop up, and I see two Kirby logos. I'm like, they didn't talk about Kirby.
Yeah, one of the Kirby games, though, has been around since the GameCube era.
What are you talking about?
The new Kirby that what's his name? The Kirby creator, who also works on Smash, said that there was one Kirby game. It wasn't Kirby's Epic Yarn, but he said it was supposed to be on the GameCube. It was supposed to be a Kirby platformer for the GameCube, but it kept getting pushed back on account of Smash Brothers and other projects that they was working on at the time. Now he's thinking about releasing it for the Wii, or he's pushing it to the Wii U.
So I don't think that's Kirby Wii then.
That's
if
what
he's still talking about it,
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are speculating.
I think that doesn't make sense then.
I know it.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Nintendo usually don't make sense.
And I mean, they didn't show Mario Party 9. They didn't show a lot of things.
That's a series. That's a series that I've been, wondering, are they going to still do it or what? I mean,
I think that people got a little fatigued with so many Mario Party games, and I think it was right to take a break for a couple of years.
Kind of like how Activision's doing with the Guitar Hero series.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, Mario Party 8, a lot of people were like, okay, it's Mario Party, it does have the motion control, but it's like, I think they needed to take their time and make better use of the technology, and of course it'll probably use Motion Plus, and come up with not only better use of the technology, but better games to put in. And I gotta say, I haven't played a Mario Party game in a long time, but Mario Party 9 actually looked kind of fun.
Yeah, What about the, trying to think of the series, shoot, I know you like the Pikmin series.
Oh, yeah, see, Pikmin, that is another thing that was bugging me, because there was absolutely no mention of Pikmin 3 at all, and then somebody cornered Shigeru Miyamoto at
And asked him over
round table, said, what's up with Pikmin 3? And he's, it's on the Wii U. And I'm like, you motherfucker.
Well, he's giving you a reason to get the Wii U.
Yeah, but, I mean, come on. How come we can't get at least one of them on the Wii? The GameCube had 2, and the Wii had none.
Well, the Wii's got the re-releases of Pikmin 1 and 2, but...
Yeah, but we haven't gotten the re-release of Pikmin 2, first off.
Yeah.
It's only in Japan. And second off, I don't care about that.
You already got it for the GameCube. Well, I played it for the Wii.
Yeah. I want a new game.
Yeah. Like how Kirby's Epic Yarn changed things, and how...
I was hoping to see some sort of sequel to that, but, the rumors are that we will see some sort of Epic Yarn game on the Wii U. That's just a rumor, though. We don't know how true it is.
Kirby Superstar Epic Yarn 2.
Just call it Kirby's Epic Yarn 2.
Yeah.
And another rumor that's been going around is that there's going to be another Paper game, but not a Paper Mario game.
Yeah, the Paper Mario games was actually to continue the Super Mario RPG that they worked with Square.
No. I don't know what you're talking about there. I'm talking about, I know they're releasing another Paper Mario game for the 3DS, but the rumor is that they're going to give another series the same treatment.
Paper Donkey Kong?
Actually, the strongest rumor that I've heard is Paper Zelda.
That'd be a good, series to see.
If they do it kind of like Wind Waker with that kind of graphics, and they do it in the paper style, I think it could work.
The cartoonish graphics.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I could see that working on the 3DS. I don't know about Wii U there.
What about a Street Fighter game for the Wii U or the Wii?
Well, I think we know that Street Fighter X Tekken is coming out on the Wii U.
Yeah, and then you got Tekken X Street Fighter.
Yeah, which will probably also be on all the platforms. So.
Yeah, what I find so funny about that is, just like how Capcom and SNK did it, was when Capcom made a game, it was in their graphics and their styling of characters, and then when SNK did it, it was in their graphics and styling of characters. Just like how Tekken X Capcom and Capcom X Tekken, or Street Fighter X Tekken, and
yeah.
It just be crossed up.
Yeah, it looks like Street Fighter 4, but then the next one will probably look like Tekken.
Yeah, well, that's
I don't give a shit about Tekken, man. I don't care about it. Not one bit.
I don't see a lot about Tekken. It's just, 2-3 characters update? They have to re-release a whole release a whole game for that?
What I don't like about Tekken is that it takes no skill at all to play it. I mean, you literally... you could just smash on the buttons all you want, and your character's going to do these, amazing moves and shit. No. If you try to play it like a normal fighting game, you can't get anything done.
Try to play it like Mortal Kombat 2. Where Johnny Cage will come out of the corner and beat your ass off.
I'm a little sick of Mortal Kombat 2 right now. I'm hoping to get on 3 soon.
I seen the 32X video, and you're like, hey, okay, I just seen smoke appear behind one tree, and then
and a split second later, he's on the other side of the... I guess, like Zach said, he's a ninja, and he could probably, move that fast. But that was actually kind of fun, because I had somebody with me, but, man, I was just like, Mortal Kombat 2, I'm so sick of it. Let's move on to Mortal Kombat 3.
And then on to Ultimate 3, and then on the Trilogy, and then on to something else.
And then 4 and Gold. Yeah, there's so many more, but, we're getting, having fun with it.
4 is actually it was the milestone for Mortal Kombat.
You see, I thought so too. Not a lot of people agree with that, but I think so too.
There are a lot of characters on 4. It definitely should make a reappearance on Mortal Kombat 2011.
Well, that is if there's one coming. We have Quan Chi and maybe one more character. Well, because they've shown us. We have Scarlet and Kenshi. Well, they've shown us Rain. And there's going to be one more character.
Well, you've completed story mode, haven't you?
Of course.
Well, you got Shinnok. You got Motaro.
Yeah, well, okay, Motaro's dead, if you remember.
Yeah, Raiden just flies down and kills him.
Yeah, Motaro's dead. Shinnok probably won't be playable.
He'd probably be one of the downloadable bosses.
No. They're not going to do downloadable bosses. Are you kidding me?
They'll probably save him till the next game.
Yeah, they'll save him till the next game.
It'd be Mortal Kombat 4 with the 2D styling.
Well, we'll see what they do. I mean, what I think is this one was a redux of the first 3 Mortal Kombats. It would be nice if the next one was like a redux of the next 3 Mortal Kombats.
4, 5, and Deception. 6.
So 4 and Deadly Alliance and Deception, and we can see how those play out. Obviously, with different characters being alive, Yeah. I mean, you know that Liu Kang dies in Deadly Alliance, but he's already dead,
Yeah. Well, that was in the Deadly Alliance was in the original timeline.
This is a completely different thing. So it'll be interesting to see how these things play out in a new timeline.
And the thing of it is, this Mortal Kombat is actually the sequel to Mortal Kombat Armageddon.
Yeah, in a way it is. It sort of went. It sort of went full circle. I don't know if you know much about Star Trek, but it did remind me of like the new Star Trek movie.
Yeah.
Which it could take place right after like Nemesis with the Romulans and everything, and then you go back in time and you change everything.
Then you go back to when Kurt was becoming a commander and all that stuff. Yeah,
exactly. So it follows the old series, but then goes back and starts like a new thing. And I thought that Mortal Kombat 9 is similar to Star Trek. I guess you'd call it. A lot of people call it Star Trek 11. So,
and it ends with the second trilogy in the series, but it goes back.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, but things are different.
Yeah.
Things are different. I mean, certain characters are alive that shouldn't be alive, and certain characters are dead that shouldn't be dead.
Certain characters are cyber robots.
Yeah, I mean, Scorpion, Sub-Zero's a robot. Smoke is not.
That's because Raiden was wanting to see how the timeline would it affect if Sub-Zero got captured.
No, that's not it. That's not what happened. You weren't paying attention. He just saw Smoke and saved him, but the reason that he didn't save Sub-Zero is because he knew that if they tried to intervene, that Smoke would be in danger.
So he's actually looking at both timelines.
Well, he's only getting flashes of the other one.
Yeah, from his past.
So he knows things that are like he gets flashes of things that are going to happen, but he doesn't know the consequences of changing them. Like, for example, he sends he's so sure that it's not supposed to be Liu Kang that defeats Shao Kahn in the second tournament, so he sends Kung Lao in there, and Kung Lao gets killed.
Yeah, that's because he's trying to find out who was his...
He's only getting these flickers, and he doesn't know what it means, so he's just doing whatever he can, and
he's like...
He gets it wrong a lot.
He's like, who is supposed to win? If Liu Kang ain't supposed to win,
then maybe,
and Kung Lao ain't supposed to win...
Yeah, and we know at the end it's supposed to be Shao Kahn.
He's like, let Shao Kahn win because the other gods wouldn't let him merge the rounds by force.
Yep, that's true, and that's exactly what happened.
The thing of it is, what has them scared is the other gods act like we don't care what you do until he actually wins.
Yeah,
then they step down
because they follow those weird archaic rules that they had set up, many years ago. So that's a series that, I mean, for a while it was kind of languishing, and now it's got this new life, and I can't wait to see what they do with it.
What they do with the next step of it.
Exactly.
Well, it's obviously what has me amazed at E3 was...
But who do you think the last... There's only one more downloadable character. Who do you think the last downloadable character is?
I know it won't be Ryoko.
Nah, Reiko's not going to be in it. I mean, it could be, but I really don't think so.
It will probably be a new character that they're introducing.
No, I don't think so. I think to get people to pay for it, it's got to be someone that people want, that they're familiar with.
Well, I know for a fact, Chameleon and Su Hao ain't going to be in it.
No, yeah, it's not going to be that. My guess, I have two. Well, I mean, one, it could be Fujin.
Yeah.
And another, it could be Tanya.
Tanya more likely be in it.
I do lean towards it's probably going to be Tanya.
Yeah, because you don't hear a lot of people talking about Fujin.
Well, there was a sound clip in the game that someone found of the announcer saying Fujin,
But it could have very well have been from an early version of the game, too.
Yeah, well, if you notice, the announcer of the game, just like how in Street Fighter, see, the announcer in the game of Hit is actually was the Ryu voice actor for Street Fighter 2 Victory.
Yeah, exactly.
This one is from Mortal Kombat: The Defenders of the Ram cartoon. The Shao Kahn.
Awful.
Yeah,
Awful.
he played Shao Kahn, so...
Yeah. We should just forget about all the Mortal Kombat TV shows. Well, except for the one that's currently going. I like the new one.
I like Legacy because
Legacy's good.
It gives you more of a real world take on it.
Yeah, I thought that, and it's got some really great actors in it too.
Yeah, so I'm thinking they might go with that kind of storyline too.
You never know. You never know.
Ed Boon surprised us in 2010 with Mortal Kombat. Something Waste's gonna release from there on out.
Yeah, well, who knows what's going to happen? I mean, is he going to work on another Mortal Kombat, or is it going to be something else? We'll see what happens next with him.
Yeah, it's like Soul Calibur.
Soul Calibur.
Yeah, I hear you talking about. You're like, I'm excited about Soul Calibur 5.
I am excited about Soul Calibur 5. Yeah.
I'm excited because I'm wondering, are they going to have guest appearances, fighters in it?
Well, that seems to have become their thing, and they did it in 2 and they did it in 4. So who knows?
Yeah, and now everybody's saying that Smash Brothers is copying them on account of that.
That's a silly idea. I mean, Smash Brothers is just giving the fans what they wanted. What was the number one most requested character? Sonic,
and then Sonic got on there, and then everybody was surprised when Snake got on there, except you.
Well, that was actually by the request of Hideo Kojima, who wanted him to be in Melee, and he was begging them, but they said it was too late in the development to add another character. Yeah,
and then they said, we'll put him in Brawl.
Yeah, which is exactly what happened.
Which, Metal Gear, for a long time, ain't been on a Nintendo console for a while, except the GameCube.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, that's true. And it was, but it's funny that usually when they add those characters from other series into fighting games, they're not that good, But
yeah.
Snake turned out to be one of the top-tier characters in the game.
Yeah.
I'm not any good with him, but...
Despite that you don't like none of the Metal Gear series, you actually
I'm not... Yeah, but I'm not any good with him, so...
Yeah.
In Smash Brothers Brawl, I can't play as him. I'm no good.
I wonder if they're going to make another Punch-Out, because this year, or 2009 Punch-Out was actually pretty good. It
sold well enough. I would assume that they would revisit it.
Yeah, I'm like, where's Super Punch-Out for the Wii, or Punch-Out 2, or...
Yeah, whatever you're going to call it.
Yeah, well,
please don't call it Super Punch-Out. That series is confusing enough. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to bring up my little clearing confusion folder. There's an idea for a future episode.
The Punch-Out series.
Here, I'm going to do Punch-Out. What the fuck? Okay, there we go. It's added. So we'll see that in Season 2.
It'd be Punch-Out. Super Punch-Out. Punch-Out, or Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, which is Punch-Out anyway.
And then Punch-Out starring Mr. Dream, which is the same game.
And
with one character change, and then Super Punch-Out, and then Punch-Out.
You know what would have been a good urban legend if you were still doing it was the whole Mike Tyson Nintendo thing.
Well, that's not an urban... What's the urban legend there, though?
A lot of people think that because of the rape that Mike Tyson got accused of in the Holyfield fight that he was biting that he bit Holyfield's ear off, was the reason that Nintendo...
Wait a minute. Hold on. You're mixing like two different stories together here. Was it the rape, or was it him biting the ear? Because you got... First of all, they dropped him before he was arrested.
I think it's right around the Holyfield fight.
No, because that happened after he got out of prison.
Okay, so...
That happened years later. The reason that they dropped the license is because he lost his heavyweight title.
And his contract runs out.
Well, they didn't but they didn't renew it because he was no longer the heavyweight championship because he had lost to Buster Douglas.
He actually posed as an interest of coming back on the new Punch-Out game. Did you know that?
Yeah, but they're not going to do that.
they're like Mike Tyson.
But there was actually going to be a sequel to Mike Tyson's Punch-Out where you played as Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson's intergalactical Punch-Out.
Yeah, which became a game called Power Punch 2, which
sucked.
It sucked badly.
It's
But
stuck to work.
the guy in it does look exactly like Mike Tyson.
And Don King's.
Oh yeah, and there was the Don King too.
I was
That game is awful.
Yeah, I was wondering what sucked worse, Power Punch 2 or the 32X.
Well, the Power Punch 2 was one game. The 32X was a system.
It was supposed to hold us off until the Sega Saturn.
No, actually, originally it was supposed to hold you off until the Sega Neptune, which which was going to be a standalone 32X, which is what it should have been to begin with. The add-ons are the worst thing.
Yeah, the thing of it is, Super Nintendo proved it. We're the top dogs. We don't have add-ons. We can still hang with the systems already out.
I mean, they thought about it, but they decided they didn't need it. And you know what? Add-ons, from a marketing standpoint, it's a bad idea because you're going to sell people another, $250 thing
that ain't really going to be worth it.
That they need to have your first thing, otherwise it's useless.
Yeah, and they looked at the Genesis like, man, if we don't add this stuff on, it's going to die. And
yeah, but
all that did was suck life out of it quicker.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, if Sega had concentrated on games instead of Sega CD and 32X...
I think they was worried about the PlayStation.
Yeah, but you got to remember that the PlayStation wasn't even a twinkle in his dad's eye at that point.
No, let's see, the PlayStation come out in 95.
Yeah, but you got to remember that started with Nintendo.
Yeah, well, which...
they were trying to get that done back in the NES days.
Yeah, a Japanese electronics show got a preview now back in 1991 of the original PlayStation, what it was going to be like.
Yeah, which had nothing to do with the PlayStation that came out.
Yeah, and then Sega's saying that, oh god, the PlayStation's playing CDs. Oh no, the Super NES has got the Super FX graphic chip. We ain't got nothing. What do we do?
Should have just made better games.
Then it went on to the Sega Saturn.
Should have just made better games.
Well,
the problem with the Saturn was that they were like, hey, let's release it 6 months early when there's
first
no game.
They're going to release it like a ninja, kind of slip it in on us.
Yeah, but which was stupid because all the third-party guys, they didn't have their games ready.
Yeah, and then they was like, well, we'll release it early, and all the third-party guys was like,
well, fuck
we'll
you.
work some on it. Yeah, we'll work some on it, but we're more
interested. A lot of them boycotted the system because of that.
Yeah, they're like, we're more interested into the Sony. We want to see what Sony's got to offer.
Yeah, so that didn't last long.
But Final Fantasy VII was the first multi-platform game.
What are you talking about?
Final Fantasy VII was out for both Saturn and PlayStation.
No, it wasn't.
I think it was, wasn't it?
7 did not come out for the Saturn. You're out of your mind.
Well, was it 8?
8? No. 7 and 8 came out for PC. Maybe that's what you're thinking.
I'm pretty sure I read on Wikipedia it was on Saturn.
You must have loaded it when somebody was fucking with Wikipedia, dude.
Usually you get a lot of that.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be a little lucky with that. I'm telling you. I remember I did all the research for that fucking history of Final Fantasy and then the clearing confusion and all that. Final Fantasy has never been released on any Sega console.
Well, I know that...
Ever.
Yeah, I know that Nights into Dream is one of the games that actually helped the Saturn.
And but no, that was a niche. I mean, it didn't sell a lot. I mean, it was reviewed well, but it didn't sell.
Well, we was kind of hoping for Sonic to be on the Saturn, besides the 3D Blast.
Which was already on the Genesis anyway.
Yeah, I mean, why release one game on both consoles?
I don't know. I mean, Nintendo pulled the same thing with Twilight Princess. You're at the end of one console and the beginning of another, and they released it on both.
Why? I mean,
I don't know.
Why not make Twilight Princess the starting of the Wii? And then
because it was developed for GameCube.
Yeah, it was working for GameCube, but even though they pulled the plug from GameCube, they still released it for GameCube.
Well, it's a very good thing because the GameCube version was better.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, a lot of people wouldn't actually sold on the motion controls at the time.
Well, because it was an afterthought. It was thrown onto a game that was already completed.
Yeah, and then you got Skyrim. Not Skyrim, but Skyward Sword.
This one I expect will be better because it was designed for the Wii.
Yeah, but now, here's the thing: are they going to do the same with it? Are they going to release a Wii version and then a Wii U version? Or
no, they have already said they won't do that, which is I'm glad they're not doing that.
They might end up doing it with the Mario.
What with Mario?
They might end up releasing the game for the Wii and then Wii U with Mario.
But what game? They haven't announced any Mario game except for Mario 3DS.
Well, that'll probably get ported over to the Wii U.
No, I don't think so. I mean, you look at the graphics. That's 3DS. That's not Wii U.
Yeah, I like to see a Super Mario Brothers 3 in 3D.
Well, that's basically what this is.
Yeah. Let's say I know Mario N64 DS started something for the 3DS, which turned out to be Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time 3DS and Star Fox 64 DS.
Yeah, and now the Nintendo 64 is suddenly in again.
Yeah, and the thing of it is, the N64 was actually pretty good around 96, 97, 98.
Yeah.
But at 99, 2000, 2001 is when you kind of looked at it like, well, it's going to die soon.
Yeah, but that's also when they released some of the best games.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden the GameCube come out, and everybody's GameCube's the bomb.
GameCube was the bomb.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it was good having you on, but we got to go now.
All right,
we'll have to have you on again sometime in the next season or whatever,
or 2 seasons down the road.
Before you go, tell us what you're doing on your channel.
I'll be starting a Let's Play probably next week or the week after when I get my headset with the microphone. So I won't be doing with the Rock Band stuff, Rock Band microphone. I'll be doing a Let's Play of Super Punch-Out, and then a Let's Fail of the Super Mario Brothers series from the NES. 10 videos for each series.
I've told you this already. If you actually play Super Mario Brothers, any of those games, 1, 2, or 3, if you actually play any of them for 10 full videos and don't beat them, I'm gonna punch you in the dick.
I'll feel like you did when you play I Want to Be the Guy.
Yeah, but they're not hard. They're not like that.
I know, but...
Have you ever played Super Mario Brothers before?
Yeah, I played a lot out of it.
And you've beaten it, right?
No, I usually get up to World 4, Level 4, and end up getting killed.
Wow, okay. Well, maybe you'll do better.
Hopefully.
Super Mario Brothers 2, though, you better be able to beat that one. That one's easy.
I've beaten that.
Alright, so we'll see you. Back to the show.
And a big thanks to Chris for coming along to be on the show again. That'll be the show. We're just going to end it like I usually do with the video game sales figures for the week. So here we have the top 10 best-selling video games for the week ending in July 9th. In America, at number 1, we have Zumba Fitness for the Wii, sold 44,569 copies. Mario Kart Wii for the Wii, winning, sold 40,917 copies. Just Dance 2 for the Wii sold 39,669 copies. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D for the 3DS sold 38,683 copies. Wii Sports Resort for the Wii sold 37,548 copies. Nintendo domination. There's only 2 non-Nintendo on this list, and they're coming up right now. Kinect Adventures for Xbox 360 sold 37,080 copies. Earth Defense Force Insect Armageddon for Xbox 360 sold 36,782 copies. Wii Sports for the Wii sold 34,522 copies. Wii Fit Plus for the Wii sold 33,491 copies, and Pokemon Black and White version for the DS sold 33,486 copies. A complete lockout for Sony. Did not crack anything in the top 10 in America. Very surprising. But we'll definitely see them here in Japan. Top selling game was L.A. Noire for PlayStation 3, sold 59,331 copies. Infamous 2 for PlayStation 3 sold 32,942 copies. Earth Defense Force Insect Armageddon for PlayStation 3 sold 30,633 copies. Wii Remocon Plus Variety Pack, which is called Wii Play Motion here, that's for the Wii, obviously. That's 17,410 copies. Earth Defense Force Insect Armageddon for Xbox 360 sold 17,309 copies. Danball Senki for PlayStation Portable sold 15,881 copies. Zelda no Densetsu Toki no Ocarina 3D, that's Ocarina of Time 3D, for 3DS sold 15,365 copies. Steins Gate for PlayStation Portable sold 13,449 copies. GoldenEye 007 for the Wii making a comeback with 13,130 copies. And Wii Sports Resort for the Wii sold 12,944 copies. Moving on to Europe, the top-selling game was Zumba Fitness for the Wii, sold 49,798 copies. Pokemon Black and White version for the DS sold 41,995 copies. Wii Sports Resort for the Wii sold 34,389 copies. Wii Sports for the Wii sold 32,154 copies. Mario Kart Wii for the Wii sold 30,884 copies. Wii Fit Plus for the Wii sold 19,345 copies. Dirt 3 for PlayStation 3 sold 18,966 copies. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D for the 3DS sold 16,278 copies. Infamous 2 for PlayStation 3 sold 15,872 copies, and Dirt 3 for Xbox 360 sold 15,414 copies. In terms of hardware in America, the top-selling console was the Xbox 360, making it on top for the first time in a long time with 71,776 units sold. The Wii sold 63,092 units. The DS sold 61,836 units. The PlayStation 3 sold 52,022 units. The 3DS sold 27,289 units. And the PSP sold 22,014 units. In Japan, the top-selling console was the PlayStation Portable. It sold 25,430 units. The 3DS sold 23,542 units. The PlayStation 3 sold 20,150 units. The Wii sold 13,073 units. The DS sold 8,362 units. And the Xbox 360 sold 1,927 units. In Japan, that was Japan. In Europe, the top dog was the Wii with 54,506 units sold. The PlayStation 3 sold 47,918 units. The DS sold 35,661 units. The 360 sold 30,048 units. PSP sold 28,290 units. And the 3DS, 20,410 units. So, going to worldwide, the top 10 best-selling games worldwide were Zumba Fitness on the Wii, L.A. Noire on PS3, Wii Sports Resort, Pokemon Black and White version on the DS, Mario Kart Wii, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D on the 3DS, Wii Sports, Infamous 2 on PS3, Wii Fit Plus, and Earth Defense Force Insect Armageddon on the 360. Top-selling consoles worldwide were the Wii, PS3, DS, Xbox 360, PSP, and 3DS in last place. That's the show. See you next week. VMX out.